Okay, today I'm playing Knuckles, Knuckles, and Knuckles. So, while I was out of town, I didn't play any video games at all. So it looks like... Chuckle? Oh no. So I didn't play any video games at all. I just did stories because of time. It was just pretty quick for me to put together some information and post, whereas games, as we all know, can take either 10 minutes or an hour or more. And given what was going on with family and everything, I just didn't have time to do it. But anyway, I'm by myself now. Wanted to get some game action going. Some Knuckles. This is like Multiplicity with, so this is a ROM hack, obviously. The monkey. I'm gonna kill the monkey. I played a Sally version of this. And it was really cool. So Sally is that, it's like the love interest of Sonic, but he's too immature to actually do anything. And that being, like in the show, she was in it, and then the comic and all that stuff. But in the ROM hack that I played, she had a gun, and she couldn't do the typical spin attacks that you used to with Sonic, and it was really cool because she would shoot like sidearm and stuff, but the problem was I couldn't actually get through some of the more challenging spots where it's amazing how often you get hit if you're not spinning, which makes sense. That's a prime attack mechanism that Sonic, Knuckles, or Tails use. So with Sally not being able to do that, I was just getting annihilated. Let's see. Alright, so this is pretty standard. Knuckles they actually have Sonic and Tails are just painted red. The color palette's red instead of actually that's a little lazy, but I can see why they did that. Maybe they forgot. It's actually a little bit harder to tell. So instead of putting Knuckles in there, they just literally painted them red. Hilarious. Oh, probably because there wasn't a Knuckles sprite for this. I think they just had readily available Sonic and Tails sprites. And even though the artwork isn't terribly, terribly difficult for that, it's time-consuming. No matter what you do with animation, it's time-consuming. As I've said in some of my animation videos, but people don't really seem to want to see those as much as game-related stuff, which is fine. Oh no! I'm used to those all turning into rings. So I'm going to run through this level. It's probably going to play just like if I were Sonic. Angel Island Zone. Knuckles is an interesting character. He comes off as like kind of a D-bag in Sonic 3. Not kind of, he actually comes off as a rather intense jerkaholic. Oh no! Oh look, and he turns blue underwater. I wonder if that's just the tone of the water, or if they're just using the same color palette as Sonic. Alright, so I can't... a lot of my friends on YouTube have been doing movie reviews, and so I kind of started thinking about not to copycat, but movies are fun to watch. But I started watching a Stanley Kubrick movie. What's it called? Clockwork Orange. Only watched like 30 minutes of it so far. Very, very disturbing. Unfortunate. I wouldn't expect anything less from Stanley Kubrick, but very disturbing. So we'll see how that goes. I may take a break and watch that in installments and not the whole thing. I know there's a lot of people who are really big fans of that, so I don't want to say anything too much, but I really liked Soylent Green, or whatever that movie was, of Charlton Heston, where they were basically eating people. I love Charlton Heston movies, like the Planet of the Apes and all that stuff. Speaking of movies, I actually enjoyed the premise of the Sonic movie. I didn't like that they made it, the one that came out recently. I didn't like that they made it all, for the most part, live action. I did like that they redid Sonic, but I would have appreciated if they actually did more Sonic universe stuff. It's just like what they, which is what they had the capability to do. They had the environment all built out, and they had, you know, like the Emerald Hill Zone design, which is really, really cool, and I was excited, and then it was all like based in some small town in the Midwest, which was unfortunate. The fact that they got Jim Carrey to play Robotnik was awesome. I love Jim Carrey's work. Somebody at work said that, I said, you know, I really miss the days when Jim Carrey did like Pet Detective and the Joker and all those just crazy over-the-top characters with just, you know, that were borderline sociopaths, but they were hilarious. And my coworker was like, well, I'm sorry he's mature and you haven't, and because I haven't really watched his new stuff. I typically watch stuff that has the element of Jim Carrey-isms. You know, he's like still funny and over the top. So I just appreciate that humor. I know he's had a lot that goes on in his professional and personal life, which is kind of unfortunate. But I miss the days when he was just over the top, you know, comedian that we all knew. I remember when I was in elementary school, the Pet Detective came out, and my teacher, I went to a private Lutheran school, and the teacher was like, you are all forbade from watching this. And of course it made me want to watch it more. I think I watched it on vacation with my dad, and he was just like, he was like, wow, this is so bad. But anyway, but the fact that they used Jim Carrey for Robotnik to me was awesome. Like, he's, you know, very cocky, and I didn't care about the design difference. I actually appreciated it, and then they actually made him skinny with the mustache at the end in the Mushroom World, or the Mushroom Zone, I guess you would call it. But I thought it really worked. I'm looking forward to the second one. I'm hoping they have more Sonic-esque levels. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, so with Sally, this part was like just so impossible for me because you had to jump on the logs and you couldn't spin up. And I lost like multiple lives there. So, okay. Gotta empty all the water. Oh, I thought that was the water thing. Okay. I really like playing games and exploring them. It's funny because the gaming community people are really particular about like how good or fast somebody is. You know, like you got long plays, you have speed plays, and I just enjoy to try things out and play it. And I appreciate that a lot of people that watch my YouTube and comment, they actually don't mind that I like to do cold plays and just test games out. So it's like almost like game testing to a degree, except I'm not playing like the whole thing. There are some games that I want to go through and, oh man, that was really bad, and just kill the whole game. And Turtles in Time, I did a long play, and that's a pretty short game, but I love that game. It's like my favorite game of all time. So I want to up the challenge on that. I haven't played in a while, so I played it on easy. So I'll probably go back and play it on normal and then hard, and then I want to play the Sega port, which was Hyperstone Heist. So I played a couple levels of that, but I want to finish that one. I love turtle games. The NES games are kind of BS, though. They're really hard. Starting from the first one to the 2 and 3. It's like 2 and 3 you have to rely on your super special moves, which I didn't figure out until too late. And then Rhino. And then are you kidding me? He got all my rings. Oh, okay. But the first one is just notoriously difficult. But 2 and 3 are almost like the same game with different level design. And without a friend, it's just not as much fun to me. I remember playing those with my friends when I was in elementary school. And my cousin wanted to buy 2. We were at a secondhand NES or video game store in the 90s, and even then it was like NES was secondhand. I barely hit it at the end of its popularity for SNES and Sega Genesis came out, and then I basically missed Atari, which is okay. I've never really been able to get into Atari. I know people are gonna like think that's insane, but I just was never able to get into it. Nobody in my family had it. And when I played it in college at a friend's house, I was just like, well, we played Pong, and then the other ones I was like, I can't figure this out. The graphics don't make sense to me. But so NES was my I think I talked about this before. My grandma had a console, so we spent in Wisconsin, of all places. We spent not doing very well here. A Saturday in La Crosse, Wisconsin, looking for secondhand games before the internet was really big. I don't think they had internet access on the family farm. We didn't live in La Crosse, but we went there to shop sometimes. And we found a store, and I forget the, I wish I remembered the storefront. And my cousin was like, oh, I want to get, Turtles 2, and I was like, dude, this game is so hard, and you're gonna get frustrated. And I'd already, I kind of gave up after playing a few levels. But I kind of wish we bought it, because instead we bought Battletoads, and Battletoads is like the hardest game ever. Oh, I keep falling here. I know, Bootsy fans out there, he had the Bootsy Beat series where he goes through step by step. He makes it like a 1970s like informational training video, which is kind of hard to sit through, to be honest, but he goes through and he's like, there's a technique to this people, and I appreciated that, because I would always get, past the third level with the hovercraft obstacle course, and then I would get so tired, I would leave it on and try to play later, and then I would lose the technique, or because you definitely have like a groove when you play these games, and then I would end up losing, and I would get so frustrated I wouldn't touch it until like the next time we came to visit Grandma, which would be like a year later. We would go there a lot, but it would be a couple times a year, or like once a year. So then I would forget how to play it, I'd lose my technique, and so I never actually beat it. So it's just funny that we picked up Battletoads, because the first level is so fun when you have multiple people, but it's so short, and then that people lose interest so quickly when they're not like hardcore, because it's a hard game. So, and then my little cousin liked it. He would always, you could always hit each other in Battletoads, so my two cousins would play, and one of them was younger than the other, and then the one cousin would beat up the younger cousin in the game, and then he would start crying, and I should have said, hey, don't do that, but it's kind of funny to watch. It's always kind of fun when you can hurt the other friend in a game, and it just drives them nuts, because you're like, it's a particularly difficult part, and you just knock them off a cliff or something, and it's a really mean thing to do. But it's, at the same time, like, you have to do it at least once, I think. With Butnick. Alright. Oh, I love this attack. Gotta be really careful on the stage. So... Oh, no! You kidding? Hold on. Mike Matei there, I was getting all freaked out. Okay, so I don't have the flame burst this time. What is that for, that little flash thing? But yeah, it was just a lot of fun. I want to do a video on the games that I can remember that we had. So it was the NES, and then at home I had the SNES. We also had Punch Out at Grandma's. And then I didn't have the Sega Genesis, and I found out that Ian from the Hat Country podcast, he actually grew up with a Sega Genesis, so it's just funny because it's like families never had both. They either had the SNES or they had the Sega Genesis. Oh, nice. He's gonna kill him, look at that! Oh, wow! He took him out! Awesome, thank you, Clone Knuckles. Dude, that was amazing. Wow, if it goes down this cliff, it's gonna be funny. So, but yeah, I didn't have both. I think some people had both. Rarely, but it's kind of unfortunate. So who knocks him down? The third Knuckles? Alright, okay. So that's this one, the Hydrosity Zone. Anyway, I'm done for now. Feel free to like and subscribe. I don't want to play... I hate this level, so I don't want to play this level. But anyway, that's Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles. Anyway, feel free to like, subscribe, and share, and thanks for watching.